4 stories apiece about Donald Trump, trans people, and climate change, the usual lineup. There was nothing at all about how an alien species is flying hypersonic aircraft over our cities. Not one word.
I did not see this coming, by the way. I didn't think he was going to have an Alex Jones show. I thought he was just going to get more racist. I thought he was going to be open. Well, I mean, he actually kind of was super anti-Semitic in this one. He did compare a Jewish person to a rat. So that is as anti-Semitic as you can get. There is that. He probably couldn't have gotten away with that on Fox News. So yeah, that's a little bit more extreme. But I did not think he was going to go like full Alex Jones tier.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. This morning, it looks like somebody blew up the Kakhovka Dam in southern Ukraine. The rushing wall of water wiped out entire villages, destroyed a critical hydropower plant, and as of tonight, puts the largest nuclear reactor in Europe in danger of melting down. So, if this was intentional, it was not a military tactic, it was an act of terrorism. The question is, who did it? Well, let's see.
Fox says Tucker breached his contract. Really? A breach of contract claim set by Fox News to explore potential legal action against Carlson, a move that would intensify the already thorny public battle between the two parties. Carlson's lawyers told Axios any legal action taken by Fox would violate the First Amendment. Fox defends its very existence on freedom of speech grounds, and they want to take the talk of Carlson's right to free speech and speak freely away from him because he took to social media to share his thoughts on current events. Carlson was ousted by Fox News following a 740 defamation lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. Carlson Axios reported has since accused Fox of fraud and argued that Fox breached his contract when its senior executives reneged on promises made to Carlson intentionally and with reckless disregard for truth. Carlson's lawyers also argued that Fox broke its promises to Carlson not to settle down with Dominion voting systems in a way that would indicate wrongdoing on part of the former host. Axios previously reported that Carlson was told by a member of Fox News board that he was taken off the air as part of the Dominion settlement. Two sources briefed on the conversation told Axios. Shortly after Carlson posted the first episode of the new show on Twitter, Fox News General Counsel Bernard Gugar sent a letter to Carlson's lawyers saying that he's in breach of his contract agreement. I keep forgetting that he's still technically signed to Fox. They're just firing him from performing. So he's just like, fuck it, I'm going to do it on Twitter.
See, the Kakhovka Dam was effectively Russian. It was built by the Russian government. It currently sits in Russian-controlled territory. The dam's reservoir supplies water to Crimea, which has been, for the last 240 years, home of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. Blowing up the dam may be bad for Ukraine, but it hurts Russia more. And for precisely that reason, the Ukrainian government has considered destroying it. In December, the Washington Post quoted a Ukrainian general saying his men had fired American-made rockets at the dam's floodgate as a test strike. So really, once the
So is he just doing his old news show, but kind of writing it himself?
It is a girl? Come on. That idea would never occur to him. You've got to be lied to at full volume over a period of years in order to reach conclusions like that. And of course, we have been. The media lie. They do. But mostly they just ignore the stories that matter.
So did he basically just, I'll film the whole thing in my garage. I'll take one of the white supremacist writers from the old show. You can come over there. We can do some, I don't know, pro-Russia story or something. And then Elon, will you give me a couple $1 million to do the whole thing?
What's happened to the hundreds of billions of US dollars we've sent to Ukraine? No clue. Who organized those?
Well, like a fuck ton of it has been used to have defensive measures against Russians and blowing up a lot of Russian tanks, helicopters, personnel.
BLM riots 3 years ago. No one's gotten to the bottom of that. What exactly happened on 9/11? Well, it's still classified. How did Jeffrey Epstein make all that money? How did he die?
Wait, is he going 9/11 truther? You're a little late to the race on that one, my friend. That would have been relevant in what, like 2000? It's true? I want to say. I was like, the truther is a movement. I guess, yeah, it takes off pretty fast in 2003. When was Loose Change? I think Loose Change was 2003. But man, okay, so.
How about JFK? And so endlessly on. Not only are the media not interested in any of this, they are actively hostile to anybody who is. In journalism, curiosity is the gravest crime. Yesterday, for example, a former Air Force officer who worked for years in military intelligence came forward as a whistleblower to reveal that
he's going through the truther road on Truth Social? Is that a pun, or is he actually being a 9/11 truther on Truth Social? Tucker Carlson, Truth Social.
the U.S. government has physical evidence of crashed non-human-made aircraft, as well as the bodies of the pilots who flew those aircraft. The Pentagon has spent decades studying these otherworldly remains in order to build more technologically advanced weapons systems. Okay, that's what the former intel officer revealed, and it was clear he was telling the truth.
Wait, is he going 9/11 truther and UFOs? I know he did like some of the anti-Semitism in the middle. It's one of the reasons why I want to skip over it. But fucking, is that like aliens? We're at aliens. So yeah, holy shit, he gets an internet show and just does this. It's probably what he wanted all along. The alien updates have been really interesting. What's going on? I'm out of the loop. I am out of the alien loop. I did not know we have new alien developments before us.
In other words, UFOs are actually real, and apparently so is extraterrestrial life. Now we know.
Okay, wait, I've always thought that. I just, if you understand the vast distance that would require, you to be able to travel to find other planets with life, and not alone life, but to have evolved life, like life that has evolved to a certain point where they are able to communicate with you in a variety of ways. That would require technology, the likes of which I would assume, this is just like my guess, wouldn't make them just do random little like ghost-like things. Because like aliens are kind of like ghosts. That's why they're always kind of overlapping, like UFOs and ghost stories and things like that. Because they're kind of just a little bit like, woo, just trying to come out of the side, get a little bit creepy, pour their heads out, and like, woo, and you're like, what? Get rid of some grass, get some patterns in the grass, make the grass spell things, circles and stuff. We don't understand it; it's their language, of course. But yeah, just spooky, spooky little ghosts. Those aliens are.
In a normal country, this news would qualify as a bombshell, the story of the millennium. But in our country, it doesn't. The whistleblower's account ran on a technology.
Sam Cedar covered the alien story today. Are you serious? All right, I gotta cover this. What is it? Aliens? America's long, strange history of U.S. UFO whistleblowers. U.S. government possesses intact alien vehicle, claims ex-intelligence officer. U.S. urged to reveal UFO evidence after claim that it has an intact alien vehicle. All right, so this is it. This was a day ago, actually. Hold on. Whistleblowers, former intelligence officer, says government possesses intact and partially intact craft of non-human origin. Now, the only reason I'm going to be a little skeptical with this, and this is someone, I believe in aliens, by the way, but I don't believe in the fact that aliens have arrived on Earth at this moment in time. I just believe in the mathematical probability that if we have a universe as vastly massive as it is, that it's probably more incompatible with my own understanding to think that there is no other life on Earth. It would be the hubris, Human beings do have a lot of hubris. And so we've had that for a while. We used to think we were the center of the universe. We used to think we were pretty special that way. But it's more the fact that the way in which aliens have suddenly arrived, it's just too far away. There's something called the Fermi paradox, which kind of demonstrates that in order to evolve to a certain point, and we're far from that, we can't even get to Mars right now, but to evolve to a certain point, we're going to be able to go vast distances in space, and we're talking vast. You're going to have technology that is even beyond our current comprehension. It would have to be beyond our theoretical comprehension. We're talking being able to open up vectors into black holes or wormholes to travel through them and utilize the differences in a time parallax to be able to not age at such a rapid pace that by the time we came back to our own planet, everything would either be gone or the entire sun had already blown up. So yeah, it would require stuff that I don't think we currently have. And if they have it, I just don't feel like they're coming over here to be creepy, to kind of just be like, information on these vehicles has been illegally withheld from Congress. Gresh said that he turned over the classified. So my Occam's razor on this story would be that someone could have found something or be in possession of something that may not be of U.S. origin or may not even be of, one half of the Earth's origin, but was at one point or another, maybe crafted and or built and then sent into space and then lands back down. Or the person could be telling a story, or like those ones are more mathematically probable, which is why I choose to believe them in a situation where we have absolutely no fucking clue if this is ever going to be a true story. That's kind of it, That's my rational brain on this one. A report followed a leak of military footage that showed apparently inexplicable happenings in the sky. Navy pilots testified that they had frequently encounters with strange craft on the U.S. coast. There's also been a lot of really creepy and nutty things that I've seen, where afterwards, when the real explanation is explained, I'm like, oh, well, that's less impressive, you know? There's an interesting theory that they might already be on the way, and it's coming close together.
Hundreds of billions of galaxies, trillions of stars, and even more planets. If even the tiniest fraction are habitable, then the universe should be teeming with life. And yet we see nothing, only vast emptiness. Where is everyone else? The answer to this riddle could be as exciting as it is creepy. We are early, born before almost all other life. But very soon, this may change. Not only might aliens appear, they could quickly surround us. An irreversible competition for the universe might be about to begin.
I think again, it's going to be all theoretical though, right? And yeah, I know we stopped watching it in a nutshell. I miss it. I do miss the cute little birds, the in a nutshell birds. Kurzgach. But yeah, they've been proven to be pretty fucking deep in the pockets of, let's just say, interests who don't want you to stop climate change as rapidly as we need to.
Technology website called The Debrief, which you've probably never heard of. The Washington Post had that story, but decided not to run.
We've only been looking for a handful of years. Aliens would be absolute pranksters and just stop us from launching nukes and stealing our cows. There's no way they wouldn't try and play Sims with us. Well, that's what I think I'd be more willing to accept, is that we're actually in some form of a simulation, and that simulation is either being played by aliens, in which we're all being either controlled as characters and or multiple people are being moved around as characters, kind of like Sims version versus like POV version. That one would have a little bit more resonance in that. I think that's more possible than maybe there's been aliens who have crashed on Earth and they're just being silly. I mean, if they're just being silly, that's so adorable. That's darling. That makes my little heart swell that aliens would want to come over here and just be cute. Because like every scenario is always like Independence Day. Oh, here they come. Welcome to Earth. Oh yeah, this is the day we take back our independence and all this kind of shit. It would be nice too if they just came over and they're like, hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, so we figured some shit out. You got a lot of shit to figure out. We're gonna help you a little bit, just because it's fun just to meet other things. It's neat to see other things. So we're happy that there's other things out there. And so, yeah, we'll give you some stuff. You can have some little powers.
On it. The New York Times, meanwhile, just pretended it never happened. On the front page of the New York...
Well, the story here is less that we have a direct confrontation with alien life and that there is a whistleblower. Like, this is what's been verified. There's an individual who's a whistleblower who is saying that the government has in their possession an alien spacecraft. That's the story so far. We still do not have the actual spacecraft or the aliens.
New York Times website this morning, there were 5 stories about Ukraine, as well as 4 stories apiece about Donald Trump, trans people, and climate change, the usual lineup. There was nothing at all about how an alien species is flying hypersonic aircraft over our cities. Not one word. So if you're wondering why our country seems so dysfunctional, this is a big part of the reason. Nobody knows.
I did not see this coming, by the way. I didn't think he was going to have an Alex Jones show. I thought he was just going to get more racist. I thought he was going to be open. Well, I mean, he actually kind of was super anti-Semitic in this one. He did compare a Jewish person to a rat. So that is as anti-Semitic as you can get. There is that. He probably couldn't have gotten away with that on Fox News. So yeah, that's a little bit more extreme. But I did not think he was going to go like full Alex Jones tier. Like, Alex Jones also super racist, by the way. But like in this case, it's like there's the alien aspect, the 9/11 truther aspect, just being like, well, why can't we tell that? Why can't we talk about this? Why can't we tell these stories?
What's happening.
He's talked about aliens before and on other podcasts. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he had I didn't know this was a Tucker thing.
A small group.
So this is definitely one of those things where Fox was like, yeah. You can do the alien story, but you can't go as much as you want to on this one.
People control access to all relevant information, and the rest of us don't know. We're allowed to yap.
He's talked about UFOs all the time. Oh, okay, well then I'm
go ahead and talk about something that really matters, and see what happens. If you keep it up, they'll make you be quiet. Trust us. That's how they maintain control. When Western tourists first started traveling in large numbers to the Soviet Union in the early 1970s, they found that many Russians had a completely warped understanding of the United States. They thought that Americans lived in grinding poverty, in a state of perpetual race war, and were desperate to flee to the freedom and prosperity of the
Well, to be fair, it just took a little bit longer to get there. That was more of a prediction than it was.
Eastern Bloc. They thought this because that's what they had been told. They had no way to know otherwise. The few Russians who understood what was really going on in the rest of the world had learned about it from listening to shortwave radio broadcasts, sometimes under the covers so the neighbors wouldn't hear. 50 years later, it is bewildering to consider the ironies here. We're the ones who live in ignorance now. The US government has managed to classify
that was
more
the
than
framing
a
of all
billion
this.
so-called public documents. So at this point, we can't possibly know what our leaders are doing. We're not allowed to know.
Is that why he hates the government so much? It's not just because of like small government, limited government, libertarian ANCAP policies and stuff. It's because like they're keeping the alien secrets and the 9/11 secrets. Like that's why?
By definition, that is not a democracy. Yet it's fine with the media. Secrecy is a powerful tool of control. Stop asking how we got so rich. Here's another story about racism. Go eat each other. That's the program.
He ruins them for you. Fair. Hey, I don't think there's anything wrong with loving the very idea of having other life be out there. If anything, I think it's a beautiful notion. This is not the only reason I believe it. I believe it because it just feels mathematically improbable that there is no other life in any other corner of the galaxy, considering how enormous it is. But yeah, sorry, I shouldn't say galaxy. I should say universe, because we would be pretty easy to, I think. Well, you know what? We don't even know if there's like life underneath the ice on, which is it, Europa? One of like, is that Saturn's moon? One of the moons of the larger planets in our constellation is covered in ice, and we've always been talking about like, why don't we send something there to drill deep below it to see if there is anything?
How most of us now live here in the United States.
It's the moon of Jupiter.
Manipulated by lies, silenced by taboos.
I lose my keys all the time.
It is unhealthy and it's dehumanizing, and we're tired of it. As of today, we've come to Twitter, which we hope will be the shortwave radio under the blankets. We're told there are no gatekeepers here.
I made a joke about Twitter being fucking not as good, like Spaces being not as good as the AM radio to do a presidential announcement when Ron DeSantis tried to do it. I didn't know that's an actual thing you're all going for, though. You want the AM radio back.
If that turns out to be false, we'll leave. But in the meantime, we are grateful to be here. We'll be back with much more.
Europa and Enceladus, if there's advanced civilization, they probably wipe themselves out now due to the advancements of technology. Well, see, you got to get past the point as a civilization, which we're having a little bit of trouble with right now. We got to solve this climate change thing, and we also just can't nuke each other to nothing. And if we don't do both of those, we won't be exploring the stars. We won't be exploring anything, not even ourselves. We won't be able to explore ourselves. It could be an immense tragedy.
More very soon.
RFK did his Twitter Spaces. I don't need to listen to RFK's. Ooh, what's this? That's a very creepy logo. It's like the machinations of your mind. Like, this is what goes on in my head. Tucker Carlson calls Ukraine's Jewish leader rat-like as he launched his new Twitter show with pro-Kremlin rant. The far-right former Fox News host has questioned the official story of 9/11 and questioned that the U.S. media are covering up the evidence of alien life. And so I guess that's going to be the new show. Yeah, that's the new Tucker Carlson hour. Kind of bizarre.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
Thank you kindly to our Lord and Saviors Peyton L. Just and Xander Corvus. Without you, we are nothing. And now, a shout out to our Knights of the Square Table. Amazing Flesh, Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, DM Rivera, Doug Cady, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Izzy Solidarity, La Media Panza, Matthew Scarborough, Multimondi, Metal, Omni, Peanut Butter Blonde, Political Papi, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Kubi, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian Dimmel, Thomas, Trevbot EXE, Lucidry, Words Greenwood, Cheryl Alvarez, Tony Perkins, Thomas, O'Pecker, Travis McClinton, and Victoria Bell. Thank you so much. And a huge shout out to all the other people who make this entire show possible. Without you, it would not exist. If you can support us, please go to patreon.com/theserfs, and even $1 can help unlock all of the little goodies and help make this show entirely possible.